fighting this thing, man. I kick ass, will kiss ass, and I'm busting heads.
Hey guys, Keon the Movie King, and I'm about to finish my Universal Soldier marathon that I've been going on. So, just have 2 more movies out of the way. I gotta just let you guys know that the Blu-ray update is gonna be kind of delayed because I just want to get these out of the way. This is gonna be back to back, but we're gonna start with Universal Soldier Regeneration. So, Universal Soldier Regeneration. There's a group of terrorists that are holding these 2 children for ransom. They have a new and improved Unisol that's played by, of course, the UFC, the former UFC, Andre the Pitbull. This is a new kind of Universal Soldier, Unisol, basically. It's a new kind. It's much more accurate, much more faster than the older models that was, Jean-Claude Van Damme. Anyways, the military is having a problem getting through and trying to save these children because this Universal Soldier is basically just out of control. All it knows is to kill and destruct. So their last hope is basically to get the old Unisol model, which is Jean-Claude Van Damme, Luke Debro, and program him back in to save the day. The third Universal Soldier is completely different than the second movie. If you guys seen Universal Soldier The Return, it's much more campy, kind of out there, completely different tone from the first movie. The third movie is much closer to the first movie, but I gotta say it takes much more a realistic approach, meaning it's much more brutal, much more gritty. Some people have problems with this movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme. They say he is he has a zombie face. He's plain face. He never smiles. Just has the same facial expression throughout the whole movie. To me, I find this much more as a realistic approach of what Luke Debro would gone through from the first movie as time went by. As for the second movie, The Return, it just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, from all that destruction from the first movie, his flashbacks from Vietnam, all that brought back from the dead, he wouldn't be just a jolly guy, even though he was slowly, remembering it. I just don't see it that way. As for Regeneration, Luke Debro's character is much more depressed, confused, doesn't know where he is, what he's doing, basically, what's his purpose, or anything in that nature. He's just... He has no purpose. It's basically like he has no purpose. His only purpose is to be a soldier, basically. And I like that approach. Dolph Lundgren does return to this movie because cloning is now a factor in this movie, and that is my problem with when it goes down to the later series, is they made the stories much more complex and throwing all these things in and not finishing up to explaining. I'll go on when I go to Day of Reckoning, but Dolph Lundgren does return. And he's great as always. He's playing his Andrew Scott character once again, saying these crazy things like he did in the first movie. You do get a Jean-Claude Van Damme, Dolph Lundgren fight once again, and I actually like to fight a lot. I actually like the fights in Regeneration than The Return. Much more gritty, much more brutal. The fighting is much more brutal. There is this one-shot scene where kind of reminds me of a Call of Duty. Jean-Claude Van Damme's going through this building, and he starts out with a gun, runs out of bullets, which they usually don't do in movies because the bullets never run out when it comes out in action movies. He throws his gun down, then picks up a knife, and starts using the knife, going up the stairs. And the cool thing about the scene, it's just a one-shot scene, so you see the camera, it never stops. It just like it's well choreographed, this movie. I mean, for a directed DVD movie, really well choreographed. Much more, I'd say the quality looks much better than The Return. And I think, I could be wrong, I didn't look at the budget, but I believe The Return had much more money put in than Regeneration. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was the case. I know Return went to the theaters, Regeneration did not. But Regeneration, and I know it was shot in Bulgaria. It's directed by John Hames. He's the son of Peter Hames. Peter Hames, Himes, whatever. He's the guy that directed Jean-Claude Van Damme in Time Cop. I don't know if you guys are a fan of Time Cop. He is the guy that did that. He recently did a movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme called Enemy Closer. And the Days, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie that I believe is underrated, where Arnold was fighting the devil. His father did that. Anyways, his son is the one that has made Regeneration and Day of Reckoning. Anyways, I did enjoy Regeneration. The problems I do have with the movie is that they throw all these things that are just kind of like unnecessary to throw. I guess there's not enough of Jean-Claude Van Damme. I got to be honest. If you're watching this movie because you want to just watch Jean-Claude Van Damme, he's not in this movie a lot. It's not really about him. He is kind of a side character in a way. He does show up in the ending. I mean, he is here in bits in the movie. And in the ending scene, it's all him. But that is a negative thing. And I do wish, the other negative things, I wish Dolph Lundgren was in the movie much more. Because his character as Andrew Scott is great. It's classic. They should have used him much more than they did, but whatever. Anyways, I'm giving Regeneration a B. And that's my review of Regeneration. This is gonna be over, and there'll be a video. I mean, I'm gonna do it the same day, a Day of Reckoning. So get these marathon out of the way. Anyways, this is Key on the Movie King, signing off.